Hello, hello. Welcome back, my little SSSDLers. We are here for the weeks 3 and 4 recap. Another eventful weeks. We are officially halfway through the season, so let's see where everything's standing up. We're going to run a similar format to last time. I'm going to go over the games from week 3, the awards from week 3, the games from week 4, the awards from week 4, and then kind of just overall recaps with power rankings, MVP tracker, pick'ems, all that stuff. So let's get into it. So yeah, first up, we've got our week 3 games. So we're going to start with the first game on the slate, Chickadee versus Wacka. This was a pretty cool game. The closest game of the week came down to a 1-0 differential and actually came down to 1 HP differential. First note, Chickadee brought Belch, Nasty Plot, Hydreigon, Ada Berry, was using Belch. It was really cool. If it did more, it had serious chances to win Heat of the Week, but didn't get a kill, so of course, can't quite go there. On a similar note, though, Wacka did bring Meteor Beam Starmie, which did do some cool stuff. It did enough to break through a Terra Water Regirock, which is pretty cool. And then at the very end of the game, Chickadee got Electric Terrain set up, well, and then it ran out. But he had +2 Iron Boulder out there trying to win the game, and Wacka strategically did not Mega his Aggron so he could use Sturdy, take the hit, and KO it back. It was actually even crazier because Chickadee was actually, Babari Berry on Iron Boulder, which is the Steel Resist Berry, so he almost could have lived the hit, but with CC dropping him, he couldn't live for sure. I don't know what the roles were, but it was just a crazy turn of events. The next game was Ystream versus Power Fable. This game, I remember it led with Power Fable with Terra Flying, Aerodactyl, went like +2 against Gliscor, and then Gliscor just kind of sat in there, tanked it. He had to stack Electrode, but Gliscor was putting on some serious depoy performances this entire game. Basically walled and 1v1 that Terra Flying +2 Aerodactyl, as well as a bunch of other stuff. I mean, it toxicked on the Annihilate, and it was just going crazy the entire game from what I remember. And then he also did get like bulk up Trailblaze Tauros Paldea Water going, but I think he switched it out accidentally on what he thought was Booster Speed Iron Moth, but it was actually Booster Special Attack. I think he could have just swept straight up. But either way, it was a 5-0 win for Ystream. I doubt he's complaining. Next game is Squidbird, actually Chalk versus Phoenix. He who shall not be named. This was an interesting game. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but Clodsire went kind of fire. It had like 4 kills. Haxorus was going crazy until it got forced out. Clodsire got a crit at the end on Acid Armor. Gudra came out with the win. Next game, Wisdom versus Ryan. I remember Wisdom led with Specs Tentacruel, which is cool stuff. Unfortunately, didn't get to do too much, was knocked out promptly. Magmar came this game, and it was Belly Drum Magmar, and it picked up 3 KOs by itself, which was awesome, and then I believe Sinistruck just kind of cleaned up the rest. Next, we got John versus Sam. This was a very fun rivalry game. And then it was, the game was going 50-50. It was very entertaining to watch. And then right at the end, John pulls out the Trick Room Slow King from out of nowhere, switches hard into like Primarina, and just reverse sweeps Sam from there. It was honestly the most hype thing I've watched in a draft game in quite a minute. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Big wins for John, his first win of the season, I believe, right? Don't quote me on that. And then we have Dunkasino versus Abashta, another fun rivalry game. And Dunkasino knocks off the undefeated Abashta with that one. This game was pretty cool. I remember Halucha got froze like turn 2 by Melmetal Ice Punch. And then despite that, Dunkasino used his resources well. I watched that Glowbro go down to like 2 HP like 5 times. And then it just kept going back to 100. Regenerator is broken as can be. It didn't use its Terra that much, but it was just kind of walling. Abashta had a very cool Aromatisse set where it was like Terra Water Calm Mind. Abashta's been using this Aromatisse in all sorts of cool ways. Well, just mostly offensive, like all season. Against me, against He Who Shall Not Be Named, and against Dunk. He's just used it offensively, so very cool stuff there from Abashta. Love to see that creativity. The Inteleon was pretty cool. From what I remember, and Ogerpon got a kill, I think. And then he's been running some defensive Trichology, which I like as well. And then the last game, McGriddleso versus me. This, unfortunately, was a bit of a steamrolling, if you ask me. I just kind of got overwhelmed by Stakataka early, and I was just losing momentum all over the place. He had a cool Eject Pack Chi-Yu, actually, which used Overheat, got him back momentum. He had Iron Tail Torn, which he missed a hit on my Diancie, unfortunately, and then I kind of switched around that. But I lost my Terra Poison Bronzong kind of early, and then there was just no chance for me against Scarf Great Tusk, which picked up 4 KOs. to win the match. So big win for McGriddle, so his first win of the season. Yeah. With all that being said, we can finally get into the Week 3 awards. What do we got? Low tier of the week, Magmar, had to be. Magmar did get dropped after Week 4, though. Apparently there were some teammate issues. I believe Magmar brought a gun to the facility, actually, and Magmar was released from the team. But in hindsight, it was great in Week 3, and it did pop off in Week 3, so it won the award for Ryan. 3 kills, a death, and a win. Next, we got the Terror Cap of the week. I give it to Glowbro. Glowbro, like I said, it didn't use its Terror like super prolifically, but it's hard not to give it to Glowbro because A, I wanted to give Dunkasino his flowers for a big win. Glowbro had 2 kills, and at the end of the day, it is a Terror Cap, and it did use its Terror in the game, and I mean, I think that helped it get a kill if I remember right. So, shout out to Glowbro. 5 kills on the season already. Dunkasino, good job, my guy. Next, we've got Heat of the week. I gave it to Starmie. Meteor Beam Starmie. Thought it was pretty cool. Liked how he used it to break Regirock. It got its first kill of the season and, you know, helped Waka get the dub. So, gotta give credit where it's due. I think Starmie's pretty cool. I might have leaned like Magmar, but Magmar's already getting low tier of the week, so blow me. And then next we have the Pokemon of the week. It is going to be Primarina. It was very hard to decide. There were 3 things that got 4 kills that were all kind of deserving. Clodsire for Phoenix, Great Tusk for McGriddle, and Primarina for John, but I had to give it to John just because it was such an awesome game and an awesome moment. It was so awesome to see the Trick Room into Primarina into the reverse sweep and just cleaning up with Prim there at the end was very cool. So shout outs John for that. 4 kills in the game, and of course the first 4 kills of the season for Primarina at that. And then of course lastly we've got the game of the week. It is going to be Chickadee versus Waka. The game that came down to 1 HP. Just wonderfully played on both sides. I think both of these guys could have won this game any day. There wasn't a ton of like crazy RNG in this game, so it was just a very fun game to watch. The Sam John game really gave it a run for the money though on the game of the week though. So cool stuff. Let's get to Week 4. And now this brings us to our Week 4 games, which we'll quickly go over. First up, we got Chickadee again versus Power Fable. This game came down to a 1-0 differential, as many of Power Fable's games have come down this season. This was a pretty crazy one. I really thought Chick was bringing home his first win here, and just last second, Power Fable really brought it around. This game, first of all, made me not want to draft Aerodactyl ever. That thing looked so bad in this game. It was just doing like no damage, and then it took like over 50 from an Iron Bundle flip turn. It was just kind of crazy. Chick also had Special Land OT, which I just want to throw in there. It's kind of cool. Some of the impactful plays, Chickadee missed a Hydro Pump on Bundle that would have killed Tinglu. It missed, and then Tinglu crit a Body Press, which might have mattered. I'm not 100% sure. Knocking out Bundle. And then even, I mean, last second, Chick had Boulder out there to win, and then Power Fable against all odds. I mean, I don't necessarily know if he out-prepped or just the prep was fortunate in that I guess his Tauros, maybe inspired by the Tauros he almost lost to last week from Wisestream. It was a bulk upset on Tauros. This one is Intimidate, which, I mean, made a big deal. But it lived 2 Psycho Cuts from Iron Boulder, and then it KO'd with Close Combat and from full on Iron Boulder, which was pretty crazy. And it turns out, I guess, Tauros was adamant, and that's the only way he'd even having a roll to kill. So it hit the roll. It was pretty big. Next, we have what was He Who Shall Not Be Named versus Abastia. This game was played in advance and in a little bit of a fit of rage, but Chalk had like Metronome, Delphox. That's all I really have to say about Chalk's team in that one. And then Abastia had some pretty cool stuff, though. Definitely some Heat of the Week contenders with Belly Drum Snorlax that went pretty crazy, and then Aromatisse kind of swept up at the end, so Aromatisse is pretty huge. But of course that led to the forfeit and then the league quitting from Chalk, which, yeah, it is what it is. Next we got Wisdom versus Wisestream, the battle of the W's, the Wise Hour, I'd like to call it. This was a fantastic game that I listened to both of them in call while they were playing. It was really, really fun. But first of all, Togetic came on Wisestream side, which was very cool. But this was really like Porygon versus Goldengo, the game. It was really cool watching them go back and forth. It really looked like Wisestream was not going to be able to break that freaking Porygon. Porygon was just so bulky the entire game, and his only way to really beat it was setting up like nasty plots with Goldengo. He got really low. There was a point where Scarf Golurk came in and missed the roll to Oko Goldango, which would have just flat out won the game for Wisdom right there. But when it came down to the late game, Dengo recovers up on Porygon 2. But, dude, I just realized I slotted in a Porygon 2 on Widestream's team. I gotta fix that. Do you guys see this? When it came to the late game anyways, Widestream got to recover up his Dengo on Porygon 2, and then he got crit Spadef drop by Porygon 2 Shadow Ball, which kind of changed the game, but I think it's about even with the missed roll on Golurk, and Wisdom, I think, deservingly won this game. Fantastic win, knocked off the 3-0 Widestream, so pretty cool stuff there from Wisdom. Gets himself back in the playoff race. Next we have John versus Ryan. This was a crazy-ass game to watch live. John got luckier than I've seen most people ever get lucky in their entire lives. There were just some crazy stuff going on. It was like a first turn para on his Tornadus with T-Wave. He got paralyzed. It would have led to Darkrai dying, but Darkrai got to live, which ended up being impactful. He flinched with the Darkrai. He flinched Necrozma with a Dark Pulse, which forced it to switch while it was setting up, which sucked. And then the same Necrozma missed a Heat Wave on Skarmory, which was pretty crazy. Also to note, John had Wisp Darkrai, which I thought was interesting. And then Ryan had Policy Sinistra up behind screens, and it was basically going crazy. There was like a 50-50 with a Terra Dark Pulse versus Terra Fairy, or a Dark Pulse from Darkrai onto Terra Fairy, or staying normal Sinistra. And Ryan made the right read going Terra Fairy on it, but John got the flinch and then got to knock him out with Sludge Bomb the next turn, which was pretty crazy. But nevertheless, Scarf Urshifu cleaned up for Ryan, so Ryan stays undefeated at 4-0. Next, we have Dunkasino versus Wacko, which was actually a pretty fun game. Best note from this game was that Dunkasino brought the GOAT, Pyroar, with Throat Spray, and it was actually putting in some crazy work. I know it knocked out Mega Aggron, but it was just kind of applying pressure everywhere. I saw it do like over 50 to Quillfish, and then Quillfish exploded, which is cool. And then Shaman used Healing Wish at one point as it was getting walled by Covert Cloak Florges, which is also neat tech. But yeah, Florges just kind of cleaned up that game, and then Infernip, I think, picked up the last couple kills. And then we got McGriddleso versus Phoenix. McGriddleso had Weakness Policy Chi-Yu, take a Scald from Suicune, and then it got, +2 Chi-Yu is actually very scary, but Suicune still walled it with Rest. And then I believe there was a Calm Mind Mega Audino in this game, didn't do too much. Stack Attacker just kind of existed, and then I believe Superior cleaned up at the end, and it actually would have died to a crit Ice Punch from Iron Valiant, but it had Yachi Berry on the Superior, so it ate the crit Ice Punch and then continued to sweep, so a big 4-0 win for McGriddleso. And then the last game, of course, me versus Sam, which was actually like the first game played. But Sam definitely just outplayed the hell out of me on this one. He out-cremied me turn 1 with Terra Ghost, and then he beat my Belly Drum Iron Hands, so shoutouts to him for that. And then he had Natural Gift, Flygon, Ice to kill my Lando. I was sitting there thinking I was safe with Lando. If you haven't seen my video, I thought I was chilling. And then I saw he had no ice moves. I thought he had Ice Punch. He doesn't learn it. And he used Natural Gift, Iced, and knocked out my Lando. And just from there on, I was in just such a bad spot. And then, yeah, Sam outplayed me and won that one big time. I just saw this MF2 Tagovailoa just threw his third pick of the game. And it was a pick 6. Dog, I'm playing Buffalo defense, of course. Anyways, week 4 awards. Here we go. Halfway through the season. So we are halfway through the awards after this. Our first award is going to be low tier of the week, and it is Aromatisse. Had to give it to Aromatisse. 3 kills this week. Finally got some kills. It's been like doing cool stuff all season, but it didn't actually get to do anything until this week. And basically forced someone out of the league. So Aromatisse is the GOAT for that, I suppose. It's come to all 4 games as well, which is pretty neat. Definitely going to be in end of season award talks if we keep up this stuff. Just a reminder to everyone, the way I do end of season awards, I guess it's all a little subjective, but I'll just choose stuff that did good. But also, like, stuff needs to come to games. If something had 10 kills in 2 games, it's not likely to win MVP. I'll definitely make exceptions if stuff like that happens, but if you want your Mons to win awards, you should, I'm just going to say, at least have them come to 4 games. So just throwing that out there. Next award, I believe, Terra Cap of the Week, Sinistra. Sinistra did get killed, but it did get 3 kills. It was still going crazy behind Weakness Policy and Screams, but it did get flinched and died, so can't give it Mon of the Week for that. But Sinistra has jumped up to be one of our kill leaders It's at 8-2 now, so shout out to Ryan. That was pretty cool. And shout out to Ryan for winning that game, by the way. I meant to mention this earlier, but shout out to him for winning that game. It's very easy to get flustered when you're getting hacks to death. I know it happens to me, so Ryan really pulled through there. Next, we've got Heat of the Week. I got to give to Flygon's Natural Gift Ice Flygon, which, of course, knocked me out. There were a couple other things I considered, but ultimately I do think it had to be Flygon, especially because it helped him win the game. And then the Pokemon of the Week is going to be Porygon 2 for Wisdom. This thing was just putting on a defensive masterclass and picked up 4 KOs along the way because it just couldn't be killed. I mean, I watched this thing use all of its recovers, and it was going crazy, got 4 kills. It got Heat of the Week earlier this season, and now it's going to get Pokemon of the Week here in Week 4, so very cool stuff for Wisdom, getting the 4-0 with Porygon Poopygon 2. And then the game of the week is also going to be that same game, the Aussie Arcanines versus the Atlanta Braviaries. Ystream versus Wisdom, of course. Just a cool story with Wisdom beating the undefeated Ystream, getting himself back into serious contention, and the Poopygon just going crazy. So, very fun game. Here's just a quick look at our standings. We got Waka and Ryan atop at 4-0. We got Ystream and Abasha at 3-1. We got a handful of 2-2 teams, and then we've got yours truly leading the 1-3 pack. And then we got Chickadee down there at 0-4. And then just a quick look at pick'ems, as Dunkasino is our leader by 3 entire points. That's a pretty considerable margin. Dunkasino has been picking the upsets, and he has been right. He has been over 50% every single week, 4 or 5 on every single week, which is very impressive. Ystream and John are in second right now with 15, and then me and Wisdom are tied for what, 4th technically, with 14, and then everyone else has still got a chance. We got 4 more weeks, and then playoffs, reminder, double points for playoff games. But everyone's still in the running here for the most part. Just got to do your pick'ems. And yeah, shout out to Dunkasino for being first right now, though. Now it is time for everyone's favorite part, the power rankings. Like I said last time, I will post these in the Discord later if you don't catch the video, but I will force you to watch the video for like the first 24 hours. But these are the Week 2 power rankings. We'll quickly look at the Week 4 ones, but just a reminder, Waka on top after Week 2, John in last. And now the updates to Week 4 is going to look like, bang! Lots of no movement, honestly, this week. Pretty cool. Waka stays on top at 4-0, Ryan in second. All of our top 4, they all stay the same as what they were in Week 2. McGriddleso is our biggest jumper, jumps up 6 after starting 0-2, wins 2 straight against me and Phoenix, and jumps up to number 5, so back in the series playoff race. I think he's had some of the harder opponents, and that's why he jumps up here. Phoenix is right behind him, though. Couldn't put Phoenix above him because he just lost to him, but Phoenix has been doing great at the same time, so I got him at 6. And then I got Wisdom at 7. Wisdom's actually 2-2. I don't know why it says 1-1. That's my bad, but he was at 7 last week. Sam stays at 8. And then Power Fable jumps up from 10 to 9. And then we've got me at 10, one of our bigger droppers. I dropped 4 spots from 6 to 10 after losing another 2 games in these last 2 weeks. So I dropped pretty far. Dunkasino makes a pretty big jump. I think his 1 win over Abasha was enough to prove he's one of the better 1-3 teams to me, as well as he did very good against Waka. Definitely, I was tempted to put him above me, but of course I did beat him, so it's hard to put him above me. But I mean, we'll see as the season goes on. John jumps up from last all the way up to 12, so shout out John after the big win against Sam. Squid, unfortunately, just because of the way things shook out, is kind of dropping to 13 for now, but we'll see if Squid can bounce back now that she is taking over the team. I hope so. And then unfortunately, we do have Chick at last. Yep. But I do believe Chick will be back at a higher spot later. And then looking at the MVP tracker from Week 2, it was Thundy on top, Chi and Pao, and Dengo. And now to update it, Week 4 MVP tracker is looking like Sinistra on top. Dude, where's the Red Eye Spice logo? Anyways, Sinistra is on top. We're just going to ignore that for now. With 8 kills right now, Thundy falls a spot. It just hasn't been coming to that many games, but it's still doing good. And then Chi and Pao is still here in the MVP tracker. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to post an MVP tracker for Week 6, but I don't think I'm going to post an MVP tracker for Week 8 because I got to save that for the awards show. Well, I guess there isn't really a Week 8 recap. Well, maybe there could be. I don't know. I'm thinking a little far ahead. Because I would just do the end of season awards. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. I'm very excited to do that, though. But yeah, that's everything, I believe, from the first 4 weeks. We are halfway through the season. I guess we could look at... no, we don't need to look at anything. We're doing good. Hopefully, we get some more good games throughout the season and what playoff teams we eventually have. And yeah, keep on playing Mons, my guys, and keep doing good.